Hello again and welcome back to my channel. My name is Willbroski and today we have the speed build of the Big Kahuna Bar and Grill. This build is actually for the Sim Supplies Tropical Builds for Samaj challenge. Now I believe he did a tropical version of the Build Samaj challenge because of the recently released Island Living expansion pack. However, there are a lot of people that one, don't buy the expansion packs right off the bat just because they're very expensive, or two, haven't gotten the Sulani pack yet. So I decided that I wanted to do something that was a pretty much base game. It's not completely base game, but has a majority of different packs that don't include the Sulani pack, but also fill in with that tropical vibe because I think tropical builds are super fun to do. And so as soon as he said this, I immediately thought of like a tiki bar or something that involves, you know, kind of the idealized Hawaiian or tropical aesthetic. And so for my creation, what I did was a giant fake tidal wave in the back looking like it's going to come over and collapse on top of a little kind of tiki bar hut. And it was a really fun build to do. I felt really inspired as soon as I heard about this new challenge, and I just got right to building. So as you can see, as I'm doing right now, I used these blue cubes that came, I think, with the luxury party pack stuff. And I don't use them that often just because they're very neon and kind of vibrant and out of place. And they're kind of hard to use. And the pack in general is just not a very, I don't know how to say, just a very diverse pack. But they ended up being perfect in creating this big old tidal wave here. So as you can see, I built this up one by one, almost like they're Minecraft blocks. Although I don't like to be compared to Minecraft because it's one of my least favorite games. But that's besides the point. It took a very, very long time to just kind of build up that wave, get the right crest, get the right length of the wave, and the right overall shape. And so you can see me here. I'm just slowly building up using holding down the Alt key and then pressing 9, which allows objects, if you have bb.move objects on, allows objects to move up. And so there you see I just skipped way ahead of after all this work. And you can see in the end it looks pretty cool. It looks like a nice big old wave. So yeah, I'm just coloring in the wave, I guess you could say, adding in kind of the break where a lot of the water creates the sea foam. So that's why I had those white blocks in there as well. So I keep building up this wave, and yeah, that's all I'm going to be doing for this next part of the video. But yeah, I just got really excited and inspired for this build because I love like this kind of like tiki aesthetic and this very kind of hyperbolized whole tropical theme. So that was really exciting to do. And again, I think this only uses luxury party pack and Dine Out because I did make it a bar and a grill, and so I have like a little grill in the back, which is kind of fun. So you can kind of have your Sims go there and they can, you know, grill it, get some like grilled fish tacos and then a nice juice or nectar or whatever they call it, and get a little tipsy while listening to some tropical music. So that's pretty exciting. So what's also really cool is we got these new stilted foundations which came in the free update before the Island Living expansion, and that just made the shack look so much more Hawaiian and tropical, and you can see it all kind of comes together here. I really love the idea of like this little shack in front of this big old tidal wave. It just, I don't know, it looks so cool. I was really excited when I was building this way. This was one of those occasions where like I was ready to build and I just went at it, and it turned out really well. So it's kind of exciting. Let's see. So yeah, here I am doing a little bit of different variations of what I wanted to do with the shack. Originally I wanted to have kind of like an open air kind of breezy shack because you want like the, oh gosh, what are they called? The trade winds to kind of flow through. But then in the end I decided to do more of like a enclosed shack with, you'll see you'll have different colors later on, which will be fairly interesting. Yeah. So when I was building this, obviously it took a little while just because of the fact that you have to build up that wave brick by brick. But I was just, every time I seem to build, it takes me so long just to furnish and pick out the right color schemes and the right color combinations and the right woods. And of course, that the color swatches don't match across the board makes it so much harder to like make sure everything looks flush and like good together. But for some reason, I just feel like it takes me so long to find something that I truly like. And so sometimes with my builds, I'll build it prior to when I actually record the video, getting a really strong idea of what I want, and then I'll record me almost doing it over again. But I just wondered, like, because I was looking at the times of other speed builds, and they all seem to be around kind of less than 20 minutes on average. And some of them are really large builds too. Like this is a fairly small build in terms of like the actual building itself, and it still took this long. So I don't know. I just feel like if I should just excuse me. And I feel like sometimes when I speed it up too much, it looks too fast. So write down in the comments below if you think that I'm going too fast in terms of the speed build right now, or if it's an okay pace. And if you're a builder and you post on YouTube, if you have that problem as well, just like making sure your videos aren't like an hour long, because I always seem to really struggle with that. And I'm always wondering like if these other builders are like, oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, I lost my sneeze. Gosh dang. But yeah, I always wonder if the other builders have the same problem, or if they just like have become so experienced that they don't even need to train for it. So yeah, here I am working on the inside of the little tiki hut, adding in some curtains around the place to add a little bit of a vibrancy. I liked using the mismatched chairs and putting like little flags and stuff underneath the bar, just to add that kind of pop of color that you usually associate with the tiki and tropical style because of all the natural bright colored plants and fish and everything. Also put in that great fan up on top because it might get a little warm in this fictional tropical place. Probably purely aesthetic. Yeah, so here I am working on just the overall tiki hut. I moved it to a different lot. I moved it to like 3 different lots as I was building it, just because I wanted it to fit on a 30 by 20 because I think that's the most diverse lot in the game. It can work anywhere. You can put it anywhere you want. I ended up putting my version in Oasis Springs, where the rattlesnake bar or whatever was, because I think it fits really well in Oasis Springs. And yeah, it fit really well in that lot as well. Oh, I keep saying as well. But because currently I'm building it in Newcrest. But it looked kind of out of place in Newcrest, so because I feel like Newcrest is kind of like a new development. So Oasis Springs, it was kind of a funny juxtaposition too, because you have like this tropical wave crashing over in the desert where there's like very little water. So yeah, here I am building the little outhouse out front. I think it's really cute. I know like sometimes people will try to hide the bathrooms, but I really wanted to like out front, because when you think of like a tropical shack, you think of the little outhouse out back. Oh my gosh, that rhymed. I'm a genius. Regardless. So yeah, I'm putting the sink outside. I think it just adds to the overall like tropical kind of shack aesthetic of the entire build, which is kind of fun. Yeah. So let me know also in the comments down below if you are participating in this challenge. I wish you the best of luck. I think the challenges are really fun just because they kind of engage the community members and allow everyone to kind of participate. And it just really helps foster, like creative design and stuff. Well, I'm left with my rambling. So here I'm putting in these little seats outside. I think they're adorable with like the typical red umbrellas, the red and white stripes. I think that's like so iconic for beaches, and it just looks so good. And this terrain paint I'm putting down right now, actually it's the sand. I think it's called Just Beachy. And it's kind of cool because when you go into live mode and people start walking around on it, it actually leaves footprints in the sand from the people walking around, which I think is such a nice and cool little touch they added into the game, and it adds to the overall aesthetic of this build so well. But for some reason, when I was placing it after I uploaded this build to the gallery, it did not seem to bring the terrain paint with it. So you might have to, if you are going to download this build and use it in your own game, you might want to terrain paint the place and add some of that sand in there to get the overall beach aesthetic that I'm going for. So I'm doing some light landscaping around the place. I didn't want to make it too lush and tropical just because it's almost simulating like you're on the beach itself. And on the beach itself, there's not a whole lot of plants and lush ferns and stuff going on. Although I did add in some of the greenery because you want to simulate the tropical environment. But I added more of palm trees and rocks just to kind of simulate that you're getting closer to the sea and there's this giant tsunami that's coming your way. I think it'd be kind of funny if you're sitting at that bar and you had a little bit too much to drink and you look outside and you forget that it's a fake wave. You might freak out a little bit, which would be not good, but it's fun. So, you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So I also recommend the lights that I put on the tables and the lights that I put on the sides of the shack. I recommend turning those to the like red-orange color because I think it makes it look really cool at night. This build in general at night it just looks amazing because those lighted cubes in the back make the wave look all lit up, and then you have the neon lights, and then when you add in the colored lights, it just makes it look so tiki and tropical and just like almost it's just like very stylized, and I really love the look of it. So here I'm just keeping terrain painting. Obviously terrain painting for no reason because it gets deleted in the end, which is quite unfortunate. But, you know, life happens sometimes. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Here I am just adding some more of those little rocks. And I actually put some little columns in the back, like wood columns, because it is, I do say in the description of the build, it is a fake wave, and so I put some columns in the back, kind of like structural support, which is kind of cool. And that is where the kitchen hut will go as well, back there. And so because I used the Dine Out pack, I made it a grill as well, so it's a restaurant, and you can go and have some fine dining by the beachside. So that was pretty fun. Here I'm doing a little bit of a decoration. I'm putting some plants around the place, some tropical plants, because it's a very lush, verdant environment to put all these little plants around. So yeah, I think that is all from me. Again, good luck if you're participating in the challenge. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.